Hello everyone and Happy New Year. Welcome back to another tutorial. My name's Dutch and I'll be assisting you today by explaining a few do's and don'ts when using any grenades in Gears of War 4. I can safely say that in at least 95% of all the matches I've played or seen, my teammates or the opponents underutilize their grenades. Grenades can be extremely useful in any situation that requires split-second teamwork coordination, but can also serve an individual purpose, such as a ring break or a power weapon push. More often than not, however, the majority of players will simply throw their grenade directly at the enemy without thinking what happens next. So let's begin, shall we? We'll start with the smoke grenade. The smoke grenade is something we all spawn with by default in Gears of War 4, and it does two things. It creates a smoke screen and a short stun effect upon exploding. But besides that, the most important thing it can do is confuse your enemy. For example, what a lot of players do is chuck a smoke grenade and run after it like a headless chicken. And most of the time this results in a death because they were unprepared to what was going to happen next. So here are a few tips. Tip number 1. If your goal is to obscure your enemy's sight so you can get past them or move closer without them seeing where you're going, then throw the smoke grenade a few feet in front of their cover and move into the opposite direction before the smoke explodes. Then right before or as it explodes, you move into your intended direction. What this cannon will do is make your enemy believe you're going to move around or behind them, while in reality you're just bluffing and taking advantage of their adjustments. Tip number 2. If your goal is to attack an enemy but don't want to be searching for him or her in the smoke, here's what you can do. Knowing that the smoke grenade stuns on impact, you can throw the grenade next to or behind your enemy so they can't shoot back as it goes off. Tip number 3. When planting a smoke grenade, make sure you plant it behind cover or wherever the enemy is coming from. If you plant a grenade behind yourself, chances are big you're only going to get yourself killed because the stun and smoke screen after it gets triggered. Also, make sure that you're in shotgun range and you push the enemy as soon as they even come near the grenade. Do not wait until it explodes and stuns them because you will lose out on those crucial split seconds. Next up are the shock grenades. Shock grenades are non-lethal grenades that can only down your enemies, but it will also shock your own teammates if they walk into range. They are very useful for clearing an annex ring because they more or less cover the entire circle. As far as planting them goes, they count the same as smoke grenades. However, because of their large radius and time, if you're in a tough spot you need to defend, it is a good idea to place them in between you and your enemy's attacking position so that you can make them think twice before attacking. Throwing them is a different matter, however. Shock grenades act differently than incendiaries and frag grenades because they release an initial shock that does damage, and on top of that they release small shock batteries that stick to whatever they're thrown on. So always make sure you throw them on the floor and not on a ridge or plant them on a wall, because this will lower their effectiveness and range a lot. A lot of players still don't notice, but you can actually roll out of the shock grenade at any time, even if it's your own grenade. This will still do damage to you, but at least you will have a bigger chance of surviving. A good tip on how to use a shock grenade is to see them as area denial, to trap an enemy in a position that they can't leave or cross over, either making them attack you or take a detour. In the example, you can see me use an angle to throw the grenade exactly on the ring, which causes my enemy to lose his strong position and give me the upper hand when coming from a different direction. A big don't is to throw them in the middle of the ring when your teammates are already near it. This is obviously situational, but it can lead to your team's death if you don't time it correctly. My rule of thumb is to aim at a bottleneck where my enemies are reinforcing the fight from, like a doorway near a power weapon or an alley that leads to the ring. Now, second to last are the incendiaries. Incendiaries have been around since Gears of War 3 and have proven themselves to be very useful if you know where and how to use them. They are primarily used for instant kills or damage over time / area denial. In terms of usage, they can be seen as lethal shock grenades that do not harm friendlies. However, their radius and damage is a lot less consistent than the shock grenades. For instance, throwing 2 incendiaries on top of one another will not stack their damage or increase their range. One of the most important things to remember is to always try to aim the impact area directly underneath the enemy's feet for an instant kill, or obviously hit them directly. If you're going to plant an incendiary, remember not to plant them in areas where players will walk or run through. Instead, place them in spots where they have to slide through or take cover on. This guarantees a kill every single time, even if they don't touch the grenade itself. Last but not least, the frag grenades. Frag grenades are our bread and butter when it comes to killing anything quickly. And at the making of this video, frag grenades are insanely strong when you're inside the kill radius. And this combined with any lag or frame rate problems can lead to some insane distance kills. But besides those outside sources, it's always important to know what the furthest range is for an instant kill and how to plant the grenades. In the examples you can see that about half a meter or 2 feet can make the difference between a kill or a no kill, even if the enemy is previously damaged. However, when a grenade is planted, even if a wall is separating the frag and the enemy player, as long as there is a small portion of his or her body visible and they're inside the kill range, it will guarantee you a kill. So next time you plant a frag grenade, don't worry too much about getting the most quote-unquote range out of the location you put it in. Just make sure you can hit a specific part of the body. Okay, so now you know what the grenades do and how to utilize them properly. Here are 3 tips you can use them to survive a fight, gain grenades for yourself, or take the revenge for your death. The first one is baiting, which I just rephrased as taking revenge. When you're aware of your equipment and you have any lethal grenade in your inventory, you can switch to these right before you go down. Assuming your enemy doesn't know you switched, you can trigger an explosion and your enemy won't know what hit them. Think of martyrdom from Call of Duty. This won't always work in game modes without execution rules, but if you know you're going down, you have very little to lose anyway. Do keep in mind that if you choose this route and you get killed from afar, you will drop your equipped grenades for the enemy to pick up, so be mindful of that. The second tip is gaining enemy grenades for yourself. If you're in a scenario where you know that the enemy has picked up a set of grenades that you want, you can attempt to down them and pick them up as a meat shield. This will give you their grenades, even if they don't have them in hand. And the last tip is DBNO baiting. DBNO stands for down but not out, and basically means that you're down. If you happen to pick up a set of grenades, the game will switch to them automatically. And if you notice you're taking fire and are about to go down, start preparing to face your opponent towards the angle you're being shot from. If your enemy is aware of your intentions, they'll try to move around or leave you be because they don't want to get killed by your equipped grenade. Of course, this depends on what type of grenade you're picking up, but with frags, you really can't go wrong. So there you go, a few pointers on effective use of grenades. Some might seem a little bit vague, but they'll make more sense when you get more experienced. A good place to practice these is playing as a soldier in Horde and equipping the grenade skill cards. My name's Dutch and I'd like to thank you for watching. If this video helped you out at all, please leave a like and consider sharing the video on social media. As always, subscribe for more content and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care and good luck.